Hey Flosstube, this is Tara with Willed Woman Crafts, and may I start off by saying they are up! The flock is on the wall! I was gonna say I don't even really know where to begin for this video, but obviously I want to begin here. This is extremely exciting. If you are new here, hello, welcome to my updated background that will be new to you. And if you have been here, you may have some idea of what an endeavor, what a closing of a chapter that having these up on the wall is. Quickly, just off the top, because this is like, I'm so excited about this. I'm not over it. Today is Monday, May 20th, and we hung these on Saturday, so it's been a couple days with them, but I'm not over it, and I don't think I will be for a long time. But anyway, this set of 12 birds is the Lindy Stitches Bird Crush Club collection. This was a monthly club where you got pattern and a Threadworks thread and then like some stickers and information about the birds once a month for the year of 2022. And in 2023 I kind of like finished the birds up, and I decided that I had this vision in my head of how this would all come together. And after family contributions, friend contributions of people buying me frames, buying my own frames, fully finishing all of these stitches, here they are. They're on the wall. And if you caught my last video where I was debating the final color, I almost wanted to go with the natural and then stain it, but at this point it's something that I've kind of dragged out for so long that I just really wanted them up more than anything. So I did choose the white. So you can see this one right here, and this one are the three white frames, and I do think they look great together. So thanks to everyone who like shared your opinion. There was several votes for white, so I'm glad we were all in agreement just to go for it. And again, could not be more thrilled. But we will get into the nitty-gritty of how I actually got motivated enough and supported enough to do this later in the video. So this is normally a longer intro than I usually have, but this is a channel about cross stitch. A lot of people say that at the beginning, and it doesn't sound weird when I hear other people say it, but then to me I'm like, how the heck would you get here without knowing? I don't know. Anyway, this is a channel about cross stitch, and boy howdy do we have a lot to go through as per usual. This is kind of a weird, I think we're between 2 to 3 weeks since my last update, and mainly because I wanted to make it through this weekend because I thought this was going to happen and a lot of other things were going to happen, which they did. So we have lots to go through. So let's kick it off. We're going to start as usual with sort of the finishes and the fully finishes. So start out, keep the momentum high in my R2D2 bag made by my good friend the Quilt Junkie. I have finished for now the Lola Crow cross stitch Deadly Aquarium stitch along. Out of practice. So here it is. It's completely done. For now, I mean, now, so what, today's the 20th, so in 4 days we'll have our first drop. I am elated to have actually gotten this frame completely stitched here. I'm sure you've seen it on other folks' channels, but there are about 6,000, a little over 6,000 stitches in this frame, which I will say, so I did end up stitching this on 40 count Eucalyptus by Atomic Ranch. And while I do really enjoy it and I like the size, part of me feels dissatisfied in that it doesn't look like 6,000 stitches. When it's all small and, you know, compact, it doesn't have the same oomph as stitching on like a 16 or a 14 and there's 6,000 stitches and it's just taking up a lot of space. but I think I'm gonna be very happy with the final dimensions of this chart here, and I'm having a lot of fun physically doing the stitching. It is just kind of funny as someone who's traditionally more of a 32 count stitcher. But yeah, I've done all the back stitch, and yeah, it's all in there. It's a tank waiting to be filled. And I think I failed to mention last time, but I want to highlight again, Julian Stitches made me this handmade tea needle minder, and I adore it, and I feel like it really fits the moody vibe. And so we've doubled up with decorations on this one. So I also have this needle minder that I won from the Golden Familiars. Love it. So anyway, yeah, and I'm happy. I don't know on camera if it is coming off as well, but you can really see the like white water highlights on the top. The seagulls do blend a little bit, but I'm not mad about it. I'm very happy with my fabric choice. And I did make a little oopsie. This whole sign is one stitch too low, but I kind of made a decision that the chances that something down here was going to be exactly one stitch beneath the charted sign was pretty low. We'll see if I really come to regret that decision, but I believe that is the only mistake. Is that, yeah, it's one stitch lower. So we are rocking and rolling with that, ready for the next drop, because somehow we're in four stitch alongs now. So that's a finish for now. My second finish was a start and finish actually, and I'm again gonna kind of hold off on showing this. This was my, this is my StitchCon Smalls Exchange piece, and I do plan on showing it before, or like, you know, having some kind of clip, having it on the channel, but it is presently pinned. It is pinned up, ready to be sewn into a pillow, and so you can't see the front because it is right side to right side. So unfortunately I cannot show that at the moment, but look forward to showing you next update, which might be, I might wait till after StitchCon, but you'll see it, you'll see it. Well, next up is my hashtag Team Rogue Round Robin piece. This is the third, I guess like the second passing, the third part of this. So I am stitching on Miriam of Marumi Crafts piece, and the other two stitchers that are stitching this with us are Julie of Kansas City Girl in Colorado World and Julie of Julian Stitches. And Miriam's piece is Victorian License. Very fun. And surprise, Miriam, I'm actually done. I didn't really plan it to go down like this, but you know, I'm not mad about it. Let's see, so here it is. And it looks so good. I love Miriam's combination here. So, which I will read off to you. This was several firsts for me. So this is 20 count Lugana from Zweigart in the color Raspberry, which was really nice to stitch on. I mean, because you have the nice, you know, even weave experience, no slubs, very easy to see the holes, and a nice 20 count. I feel that I will be keeping an eye out for 20 count Lugana in the future. I really like this. And then the thread is a Sulky blendable 12 weight in the color Earth Pastel 4026. Here, I will grab it because it just looks very cool, and I think is a testament to how great of an eye Miriam has, because this is just such, like, I don't typically gravitate towards pastels, and this is such a unique color, and I just don't know that I ever would have paired this fabric and this thread, but it came out spectacular. It looks so good. And stitching with Sulky was a first for me as well, so that was also very enjoyable and something that I will be looking forward to incorporating into some of my own pieces in the future. But yeah, I'm done. I'm done. I'm not gonna rush. I have to confirm, I guess, if who I pass to next if Julie of Kansas City Girl to Colorado World is going to StitchCon. I don't believe she is. But yeah, otherwise it'll be mailed to her at some point. But I also know I just mailed her. I turned this one around much faster than the one before. We've been playing it real fast and loose. It's been a joy to not feel super pressured by this, and everyone's doing a great job. So this will be moving on to Julie to be finished. And then we all get ours back. I just saw Julie's portion of my piece that she just finished on her Flosstube, and it's looking really good. I'm very excited about it, so loving that. Okay, great. So those are basically like the stitching finishes. Then I have a couple fully finishes to show you, because during this past weekend of organization-mageddon, there's some fully finishing got done as well, but it's not gonna look super exciting. So first up, is kind of, I fully finished the March installment of the Black Needle Society's Celebrate All Year Stitch Along. So March was National Umbrella Month. And so yeah, we got this on its little spot with its little gold pom-pom trim. Very fun, very easy. With the like tape on this, you just straight up tape it on the back. Next up was so March, as I said, was National Umbrella Month, but then there was an additional chart in the Nashville Needlework Cookbook. Oh, this doesn't have a magnet on it. That was also March. So March is also apparently National Craft Month. And so I did finish this one as well. I don't have a trim for it yet because this was, we did get like a finishing pack as part of the 2023 Nice List box from the Black Needle Society, which that box is going on sale later this month. So make sure you're signed up for updates if that's something you're interested in. But we got a finishing pack for the main 12 charts, but this was a bonus. So I do not have trim for it yet, but I think the model was like a red trim, you know, kind of like this. So I'll be on the lookout for that. But the hard part is getting this all laced and glued and pinned and all that stuff. So hard part is over. Gluing some trim down will not be a huge burden when I find the right one. And last but not least, I will put this one on because it has the magnet, because the craft one's gonna need a magnet as well, is for some reason this one went really funky, but National Astronomy Month. I think I need to go back through and add a little more thread lacing on the back to kind of tighten up some of these corners. I'm getting better over time. It's a challenge to get it to be perfectly circular, but this was April's chart from the same series, National Astronomy Month. And so I do have the coordinating trim for this piece. However, unfortunately, it is a little too short. So I did reach out to customer service, and they are going to be able to send me a replacement piece of pom-pom for this one as well. Well, not as well, for this one. So that's why it's also naked. So got 3 of these laced up, very exciting. I am, yeah, you know, technically behind. I'm not seeing the month as it is the month, but I am really impressed with how well I'm keeping up with not only stitching, but with finishing these. We are not too terribly far behind. So that is the Celebrate All Year Stitch Along. And then, oh, I forgot to grab this one. 1 second. Okay, so in my finishing excitement over the past weekend, I decided to jump ahead on something that was on my Whip Go board, but I really wanted done. It's just been laying there, and I figured it was past time. And so this is my final, again, if you've been around, I put in a custom frame order to the Etsy shop Modern Wall Framing Co. and had a spectacular experience ordering from them. And the two of the frames I have already put the pieces in, shown the frames, but I had sort of saved the last one, and this is that last one. So without further ado, here we go. Oh, the glare, but there she is. You can look at my tree and computer and ring light there. This is it. This is Must Be Possible. I'm trying any angle here, by Katie Landis of the Black Needle Society. This chart and fabric was included in a Novels and Needles box 2 years ago, with original art by someone. Hold on, put their name there. And yep, this frame is from Modern Wall Framing Co. It works perfectly. I was so nervous with these gold tones. I envisioned it in a gold frame, but you know, there's lots of different shades of gold, and I was really nervous about it being the right gold, and I think this really hits it for me. So this is now hanging on this wall, which you cannot see, but you'll see some pictures of that area later. So it is now hanging in the room with me. I am loving it. And this fabric, I realized I didn't say what the fabrics were on the Celebrate All Year, but they're both 32 count Zweigarts. The called for if you end up buying those patterns. But this is 32 count. I think like a custom for the box that was made by Jody of the Steel City Stitchers, and it is blood spatter fabric, but it is UV activated, so you have to put this under black light and you can see blood spatter on the chart here. So I guess I could read it, but it does say the impossible could not have happened, therefore the impossible must be possible in spite of appearances. And then we have Agatha Christie down here. So it's a Poirot quote, but love it. There we go. The flame, the glare's a little better here. The sun is, there's a lot of clouds, I think, moving through, so I say nothing for the lighting. But this is up. This is very exciting. So not only is this like a pre-WIPGO win, but now it's, you know, just something else I get to enjoy on my wall, and something else that's not sitting around taking up space. Very exciting. Okay, and then last one, I guess I could have saved that for last because that's definitely the most like, wabam, most exciting of the fully finishes I did. But I did also go ahead this weekend and put 2 more charts into my Stitchy journal here from Twisted Rabbit Creations. And this chart was a Michelle Bendy chart. They did a collab. And I think I bought I think this was 2021 that you could buy this like as a set, and so I'm continuing to fill it. I have many pages to go, but yeah, so I put my solar eclipse birds with the invisible white text on here that I showed a video or 2 ago, I'm not sure, and then kept it simple in the design. I put like this little paper full moon situation here. And then the other piece, which I had mentioned, I think I've shown this and I mentioned that it was going to go in the journal, was my little froggy. This was a kit, this little scrap of Ada, and the pattern was from a like Barnes & Noble kit way back in the day. It was probably one of my first cross-stitch pieces ever, and I happened to still have him around, so I wanted to memorialize him in the journal. Y'all don't need to read my notes, but yeah, I just wrote some nice words and kind of actually reflected on this past evening, or this past weekend, and what a great time my friend and I had organizing all my stuff. And yeah, you can see that's another finished page. So yeah, slowly but surely gaining confidence in putting things in the journal. You know, it's all, like that first one was a big hurdle, but now having a good couple in there, it feels like a much lower threshold to think about putting more stuff in the journal. I'm not ruining it. This is its intended purpose. Just enjoy. And then here, we'll just do a little tour and look at all of them because I don't have that many. Hooray! That is all of my finish for now, starts and finishes, fully finishes that I have for you. I still have I have 2 new starts and 3 works in progress that we can run through real quick. For our first start, I did get roped into the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Arctic Friends Stitch Along. I thought I could escape, but alas, I could not. I ended up buying the kind of like the accessories for this stitch along, but did not buy the called for fabric. And I believe I mentioned last time and maybe showed a picture of the fabric that I ordered, but now you get to see it for real. So here is my start. I'll take this off. I'm still working on it, obviously, on the Q-snap here. And this is my fabric. It is so shimmery. This is 16 count Aida, Opal Aida, in the colorway Hamlet from Under the Sea Fabrics. It's so gorgeous. I think it's definitely hitting that Aurora Borealis vibe for me. But what I will say, having seen the first chart, so I think a lot of people kind of experience this. So the spoiler, like the kind of sneak peeks that they gave were of like a little narwhal and I think a little like Arctic hare. And both of those, it was very closely cropped to that animal. But now looking at this, maybe I'll have up a picture of like what the full part 1 looks like. But there are these signs that say, you know, Arctic fox and vole here. And while looking at it in the mock-up, I really liked it. I didn't really think anything of it. I do worry a little bit how those those colors in particular are gonna look on this fabric. I don't know if it's gonna be a little much. So my current plan is to not stitch the signs. I'm gonna leave them off and give it another drop or so before I decide if the signs are gonna work for me, because I kind of like them. I just don't know how they're gonna play with my fabric. And I did get, as I said, I got like all of the side fun stuff for the stitch along. So I did get the little puffin needle minder that they sold for the stitch along. But yeah, really excited to keep going on this one. So yeah, I've completed 1 Arctic fox, and then this is the belly of one of the voles. So I have 2 more to go. So making pretty good progress on this. They're not huge drops. I think of all my stitch alongs, this one is one of the like lower key commitments. So we are thankful for that. And yeah, I actually did use, I'm excited because there are quite a number of colors in this. So I did use the thread card that they sent, which is actually really nice because they have the symbols on here, and I went ahead and wrote the DMC color names, which is really helpful because as anyone who's tried to stitch a Frosted Pumpkin chart on Pattern Keeper knows, their charts are not fully Pattern Keeper compatible. The charts will come import, and this one, it is lucky enough that it reads where all the symbols are versus background space, but it reads all the symbols as one symbol. So there's no way to differentiate color. And that doesn't really bother me, but it is annoying to like look at the chart and be like, okay, which color is that? And have to like maybe have a separate PDF up. But using this is very nice because the symbols are illustrated on the card. So it's much easier to look at Pattern Keeper, which has everything as one color, and be like, okay, this is what I'm working on. So I do really appreciate having that as a Pattern Keeper user on this project. And I did get the little narwhal. This is supposed to be a scissor fob, but it's a bag charm for me. Wonderful. And last up, I have the next installment of the Celebrate All Year Sal, which is a month early for Marjorie Maid's Strawberry Sal. So I'm sorry, Marjorie, I'm celebrating a month early because May is in fact National Strawberry Month. So hopefully you're maybe looking at a chart, but here is my start on that. I guess I could put the bag behind it. I love it. I've been loving all of these Celebrate charts. They're such a fun size. They come together so quickly, and the fact that all of them, they don't all use the exact same threads, but we got a called for list, like a supplies list at the beginning, and all of the charts pull from that supply list, so there's no additional colors, if that makes sense. Like I have everything accounted for. So they're just and I have all the fabrics we went through last time, so I am just set for the rest of the year to just keep it moving on these. They're very fun little palette cleansers, and I love that there's some chocolate covered strawberries and, you know, and then strawberry halves versus whole strawberries. So this one's very adorable. I guess I will say here, so this, I don't know what this fabric is. The problem. I forgot I ordered it, and now it is just like out of sight, out of mind. It's a navy. It's a navy fabric. I can definitely tell you that. Let's see, is this on here? Okay, yeah, here we go. It is. So it is just navy from 123 Stitch, and this is Zweigart, I believe. Very informative. Y'all know you can hit me up for anything, right? If you have questions about anything, I got you. Just let me know. Let me know how I can help you. That is all the starts. And lastly, I have 3 works in progress for you, 2 of which, if you've been around, again, you're expecting, because they are the ones that I'm putting consistent work on. I do realize that I almost never show the cover photo of Twisted Rainbow anymore. But this is Twisted Rainbow Sampler. So I started up in this corner, and I have been working band by band. That is the approach I have taken. And last time I indicated that we did touch the bottom, but I had to kind of make a pass on this specialty band back up. And then now I have come back down, and we have one more journey back up before we are done with this band, the way that I am working it. It is going to be in the frame, in the scroll frame, but that's okay. Yeah, so here we go. We made it all the way down, but you can see the fully completed corner now. So I will be going back up. This is the like Sprat's head, I think, and the Ray stitch. So I have to fill in, or I think, no, sorry, that's a square. It's the square stitch and the Ray stitch that I'm doing. The Sprat's heads I've done all the way down. So we just have to fill those 2 all the way back up. And it really doesn't take long. Right now, the rotation I'm doing is working for me. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I could keep going on this, but then I have so many other things that I also want to get progress on. So I've been trying very hard to not get lost in the sauce, so to speak. So yeah, it probably will take me about 1.5 hours to 2 hours to get back up the other way. And then we will be done with band 12, and we will be back on a cross stitch band. Wild. Wild. Loving the progress on that. Of course, next up, Dinosaur Forest by Owl Forest Embroidery. And I guess I can also put a picture up of this one too. I'm so bad about it. I'm just like, obviously everyone knows what this looks like. But yeah, we continue to move forward on this. This is my hashtag motif a week project, which is the brainchild of Julian Stitches. And here it is. So it probably doesn't look like a ton now that I'm kind of leaning more towards 2-week updates. You know, there's not as much to show, but that's okay because it's consistent progress. So basically I have added the volcano here and these across the top. So there's actually only one more of these little eggy cycad, whatever these are, There's one more of them, and then I will be on the top corner, on the top left corner, which is very exciting. It's something about it, it just seems very odd to me because I'm almost at 60% done. And I think what it must be is that I just really think that all of the motifs on this side are much less dense. I think this big, let's say like apatosaur, isn't it a thing that like brontosaurus isn't really real, but we all call them brontosaurus? I don't know. Look on apatosaurus is very dense. The stegosaurus quite dense. And I think there's just not that many big dense dinos on this side. There is a triceratops that's on the bigger side, but other than that, I guess it's a lot less dense because it feels like I'm making good progress, like I said, when I look at the percentage, but then I look at this and I'm like, half the chart is missing. Where the heck is it? So anyway, still enjoying this, really enjoying these kind of like, I've just sort of applied motif a week, I feel, to a lot of things this year that I'm just gonna like chip away at, and it feels good to get consistent, small but noticeable progress on things, as opposed to just powering through one thing and then feeling like you've done no stitching, because then that's put away and then you have nothing else to show. So loving that. And then, so the last one, kind of what may come as a little bit of a surprise, when I was working on the Victorian license project, I was feeling like I wanted to just get on top of that, finish it up before the end of the month, finish it up before StitchCon. And I was chatting with Jennifer the Frog Stitcher, and she had some goals of her own. So we kind of decided to be accountability buddies together, and each had a kind of daily stitch goal that we're like texting photos back and forth for. So for Victorian license, I was doing 200 stitches a day, and that chart is, you know, very like a quarter of that chart was not a lot. So it was like a couple days, maybe like 5 or 6 days tops, that I was doing 200 stitches a day on Victorian license. And what do you know, it was done. And Jennifer has some bigger goals than that. So I'm going to continue pressing on as well. And I was thinking through pieces that I want to start, you know, kind of things I have slated that I want to start later this year. And I have a number of much larger projects than my usual fare that I want to start. And I'm excited about them, but it makes me a little bit nervous because I tend to have these kind of small to medium projects. So when I feel overwhelmed, I can really kind of actually like stitch through them quite quickly. So all that to say, I have some big projects coming up, and I would like to clear some of these smaller ones out to feel like my total whip count isn't just growing. And one category where I have several is Halloween charts. So I decided I'm going to kind of take the same approach of doing maybe 200, maybe 300 stitches a day on Bonaventure Morning Sampler by Park Hopper Bart. I pulled this out for kind of like the March bracket stitching, and it kind of occurred to me that it's really not that big a chart and I just need to get to it. So I don't have much to show since you saw it last, because I only like kind of decided this and picked it up yesterday for the first time, and I only got 100 stitches in yesterday, but here it is. So we got all of the word Bonaventure written across here, which I think that was where, like, I think this is what I got stitched since the last time you saw it. But yeah, like I said, it's kind of just like, I don't know, you look at it and it does look dense with the black, but it just, I don't know, it's one of those weird ones that for some reason my brain is not computing that it's not that bad. I mean, I think the grass is probably going to be deceptive in there and those trees, but anyway, whatever. I'm going to start chunking away at this. And then hopefully after that, I can chunk away at Winchester House, and then we'll see where we are after that. So add this to the list of like things that are kind of on a schedule. Will we reach a tipping point with that? I'm not sure. I think it helps it so far. So Twisted Rainbow has a goal every 2 weeks. So I can go a whole week plus without touching Twisted Rainbow. And then the dinosaurs have a weekly goal, and that goal is 181 stitches, which can easily be done in one sitting. So again, it's kind of like once a week I'm touching it. So it's kind of like, since they're on different time scales, it didn't feel so overwhelming. So this will be kind of my like everyday project until such time that I don't want it to be. But we're gonna see. It's been going well. We've been motivating each other, so loving that. And that is it, stitching wise. So beyond that, before you bail on me, we have a couple plans to go through. I'll probably give a few like announcements that I want to highlight, some fun stuff I've seen in the community that I'm excited about. And then I do have some haul, and I want to go over everything that we did to reorganize my craft space over this past weekend. So plans, don't really have anything crazy other than, like I said, I want to stick to the goals, the cadence of stitching that I have on those 3 projects that I just went over. And then I didn't mention in my last video my May Whip Go calls. So May was the call with the free space on the Whip Go board. It is 25 squares like a bingo board, and the center one is a free space, which a lot of people fill. I didn't. It's my first time doing Whip Go, and I wanted to make it as productive for me as possible, and most productive, least stressful as possible. And I think we've really hit that balance quite well. So the 13 was a free space for me, so I didn't have anything extra to do this month. But one of the calls for this month was to finish one of the birds, which was already done. So that is fine. And the other Whip Go call that I had was to start a Swedish neat bell, which I can grab the chart. Okay, so one of my other calls was to start a Swedish neat bell. This was a Jingle Ball release and a class in 2022. I have fully completed the like candle, and then I have stitched the reindeer. So I have 4 others to choose from. And I'm thinking I might do the goat or the ram, I forget. I don't know, or the angel, not sure. But I have on the docket to start one of these. So I still have that to do this month. So those are basically kind of the 2 plans I have for the remaining of the month, is to finish up my Whip Go and stick with my Halloween charts. And then, yeah, I think that's it. That's kind of, we're just cruising on through. I did not participate in Mania or Sania or anything like that. I have just been on my own journey, and it's been working well for me thus far. Okay, yes, quick announcements. So as I did allude to this earlier, but Marjorie Maid here on Flosstube and Instagram, who is the host of Pick-a-Whip, you may have heard, is hosting a strawberry sal, where you stitch on any chart that has a strawberry on it. I'm gonna go through and see if anything that I have has a strawberry. Like I said, unfortunately, I didn't want to put off my May sal chart to wait for June to stitch it with the sal, so sorry, Marjorie. But very cute, love that a lot. And then 2 other things that I have seen in the past couple weeks that I wanted to highlight were there's a new Instagram account called the Cross Stitch Salender that is run by the sisters behind Hathaway Stitches on YouTube, and their accounts on Instagram are Cozy Town Stitches and Boomerang Stitches. And then it's also run with their friend whose Instagram handle is Salix Stitches. Her name is Alex. And it's just such a genius idea and something for anyone to know if you're looking to host a sal. But it's an Instagram account where they are making like every post is about a ongoing stitch along. Or an upcoming stitch along. So you can just scroll through there. They have photos of the charts, and in the details you can see when it started, if there is an end date, or if it's just kind of an open, you know, whenever you stitch it, please use the hashtag. You can see who's hosting it. You can find new accounts. So I did, so far, it's gonna be a dangerous account for me. So far, there's only one stitch along I was unaware of that I found on there that I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so darling. And I don't even remember the name of it right now, but it's like the Polly Pocket, this Polly Pocket Animal Crossing chart. So darling. So darling. So I might keep an eye out for that. And even more so, if a sal has not started yet, there is a little icon and you can get Instagram to remind you when the sal is starting. So nice. But they are running this account off, obviously, stitch alongs that they're aware of, but they take submissions as well. So I think that's a really great way, hopefully, to kind of boost awareness of a stitch along that you might be hosting. So I just wanted to highlight that account. If you're not following it, go follow it. Go follow all of the lovely ladies behind the account if you're not, and yeah, enjoy scrolling. And other than that, I also wanted to highlight something that I think is very cool that is also happening in June. And there's a lot happening in June. It's Pride Month. We got strawberries. There's a lot happening, but we'll just pile it on there. Cerethra, no, that cannot be how you pronounce it. I'm so sorry. Cerethra on Instagram, I'll have their handle, is who is the designer behind Serious Stitches, which, if again you've been around, I stitched the Mushrooms of Hyrule piece from them. Very fun, nerdy designs. They are hosting hashtag Floss Adventure, and they created an incredible, I will link below, Notion, like, what do you call it when it's like a collection of Notion pages? Is it like a database, a board, a Notion package? I'm not sure, but an amazing Notion resource, and which we're all Notion savvy now, right? Because we're all we're all charting our stitches, we're all logging our stitches in Notion. But they're hosting hashtag Floss Adventure. I'm not explaining this well. Challenging you to use craft supplies that you already have, like embroidery thread, and they have 30 new crafts that all use embroidery thread, I believe. Maybe some are yarn instead of embroidery thread. I use embroidery thread. They are lumped. I've clicked through it a little bit. It seems really interesting. So you can kind of like learn. They have they have links to YouTube videos about how to do these things if you're interested in a particular, you know, craft. They have, you know, how many supplies you need. Like if, like say one of the things is embroidery, and then you, so obviously embroidery you would probably own most of the materials as a cross stitcher to learn embroidery. But then I think there's like, oh gosh, timbre, like bobbin lace weaving. There's like tatting, I think, which is another kind of lace creation. Lots of stuff, 30 things, in fact, so I cannot list them all. But I thought that was so fun and so cool, and what an amazing resource that she put together. So I'm gonna link the Notion link, and there's a YouTube video explaining kind of the intent behind the whole thing, but that is kicking off in June. So I highly recommend checking that out. I know we all, from time to time, love to branch out into different things, and I really love this exploration of like trying to use the things we have to try a different craft. Very fun, very exciting. Okay. So that is all my little announcements. Right, so now I am going to show a little bit of haul. And then we'll just chat a little bit about what happened over the past weekend. I hope you're still hanging in there with me. I'm gonna take a quick sip of water. Love it. Okay, so first up is another almost PSA. So I was in Michael's picking up floss, as you do, and I was lurking around the checkout area and saw these adorable little wooden finishing supplies. I don't know what they're supposed to be for. They call them wooden shadow boxes. So I got them in a couple different sizes. So they had a hex size or a hex shape. They have a rectangle and a square. So I got 2 of each and they were 99 cents a piece. Which, you know, with Michael's, and they also have, I love that there's like the twine, but also they have a regular like framing hardware on there if you don't want to hang it with the twine. And yeah, I thought these were super adorable. And, you know, yeah, I was gonna say with Michael's there's always like a 20% off coupon, so not even $1 for each of these. And I also grabbed from that same area, they had this little guy who, it's just a thin plank. I think, you know, a flat finish would go on here perfectly. It is technically a chalkboard sign, so you could make a decorative chalk situation around your piece as well. So I don't have a specific finish in mind for this or these. I do have one in my finish pile that will fit in this square shape. So that one is slated for that. And I think I'm going to stain it as well. Since I have this wood stain, I think I'm going to stain this that dark color because that piece is more of an autumn piece. So I like darker wood tone for autumn. Yeah, so yeah, obviously can paint, stain, whatever with these for $1. Just wanted to put that out there. Go lurk around the checkout area of Michael's before you are abscond with all of your floss. Amazing. And yeah, obviously the frames are haul, but I'm not getting them down. They're up there. The experience of measuring this, we'll get into it. And lastly, or well, actually not lastly, second to lastly, so my friend who visited, who is Montana Friend, if you have been around, there's lore. I have my friend that goes by Montana Friend. She is a grad school friend who works in the same field I do, which is public health. And so she has a conference and comes down here pretty much every year. And she has a much cleaner digital footprint than I do. So it is by her request that she is known as Montana Friend. But we swapped crafty labor for each other quite a bit. So she is someone who also was kind of the impetus of getting me into cross stitch in 2020. And unfortunately, since that time, her wrist just, you know, she's gone through a lot, has decided that cross stitch is probably not a sustainable hobby for her. So I have stitched a couple things for her, and I can now add another one to the to-do list. And this one I can actually blame on Amity of the Hathaway Stitchers. So she showed in her whip parade, and I think she's mentioned it in some other, I think she's stitched on it since their whip parade as well. But she is working on a piece called Ruby the Giant Squid, I think. And when I saw this chart, I immediately thought of my Montana Friend. It's just very in her lane. And so I sent her a picture of this squid and I was like, I'm not doing this, but look at this. And then we realized that that seller has a number of other smaller charts. And here we are. So she picked out, and what is exciting about this is these are stitched on like 10 or 11 count canvas. I'll show you in a second. But it's a very different experience, obviously, than like tiny little needles on, you know, Aida or linen. And so she bought 2 kits with the hope that maybe she'd be able to stitch one, both of us knowing that there was a high probability that maybe I'd be stitching both, but it's actually gone okay for her. So she is working on Tina the Crab. I will show her off here. And I have been gifted, as of this trip, I've been charged with Felicity the Lobster. I am very excited to work on this, actually. So this will be a throw pillow. This is the canvas. It is more flexible than I kind of thought it would be. But yeah, obviously the holes are huge. And so it is stitched with yarn, basically. So this is the thread pack. I think everything is sold exclusively as kits. And this is a UK seller, but I will say it got to her in pretty dang good time. So I have no idea what the like finished size is in relation to this, but I'm just gonna start in the middle, and I think this will be very fun to work on. Just, you know, a different kind of vibe, and it's very color blocky, very fun. I'm so happy. I'm very happy that she's able to stitch on one of her own pieces again, and I'm happy to help her and get to experience stitching on this one. So we are thrilled about that. And so I'm excited. I don't know when I'm starting that. I do know that I'm going up to visit her in August. So according to her, that's what my deadline is, but we'll see how she goes. So that's kind of another semi-big project that we're looking to get up here. Okay, and lastly, I do have a little box for you. This is the contents of the Forbidden Fiber Co. Jumanji box. So if you are, let me do a better job about announcing spoilers. If you don't want to see what's in the box, feel free to skip ahead if you want to hear about the organization saga. There will be a timestamp. You can jump to the next section. But yeah, otherwise we'll go through this real quick. So this was very cute. This was based off the like 90s Robin Williams Jumanji, which is the Jumanji I grew up on. I quite love it. And there is a game challenge kind of included in this one, which I don't believe I'll be participating in, but very fun. So we got a card like in the Jumanji game. So my challenge is the room is booby trap, but the other side holds your greatest treasure, or holds great treasure, your whip. You have to get to the other side to complete your adventure. Make your way across the room without triggering any of the traps, describing what you're avoiding while you do it. Post your video on Instagram and tag Forbidden Fiber Co. or in our Facebook group for the chance to win $25. No one needs to know my home like that, even though the lighting today is really kind of, you know, just don't be staring back there. You're fine. So yes, quickly in the box, we got a set of floss drops that are all based off cards in the game, which I love. And I guess I don't know what the distribution was of the Jumanji board game, but we owned like the board game and I played it as well. And the style that we had, I think it was classic, like, you know, Hasbro, whatever, Mattel, who makes board games. And I remember that there was like a little plastic disc that went in the center and had a like red, like kind of plastic or cellophane. And so there were cards that you couldn't see what was written on them, and you had to put it under the red thing in the middle to filter it out so you could read like the blue text or whatever. So all the cards always rhyme. I won't read them all out, but so for example, we have our hunter here, and it says, "A hunter from the darkest wild makes you feel just like a child." And then, or here's like a crocodile. It says, "Every month at the quarter moon, there will be a monsoon in your lagoon." Here we go. We got the spider. Need a hand while you just wait? We'll help you out. We each have 8. That movie was pretty creepy for a kid's movie, I'm not gonna lie, but I think I was just old enough to escape like the trauma. My sister was very horrified by that movie. We got some amazing vibrant jungle colors here. Let's see. Oh yeah, The Child. This is from the Mandalorian set. Let's see. Tenacity. Nevermore. Nice black. Melodramatic. Brown. Squash Blossom. Oop. Pumpkin Spice. Courtier. Tortoise. It's like a nice brown green. And then Oyster, which is almost like a pinky white. So these are all called for in the pattern, which we'll get to. But then we got a Jumanji needle minder. I love this because it looks very true to the board game featured in the Robin Williams movie. And I will say, we own the board game, but I was always very disappointed that it was not that nice hard shell wooden case that looked like in the film. So I'm glad I have my own version now. We also got some mango snacks, some like they're not freeze dried, just like dried fruit, dried mango bits that I already ate. So those were very good. We got a little tin of the Good Stuff balm that you can it's just like beeswax, coconut oil, you know, just apply to hands. Always nice to have around. And then getting down to it, we got a 1/8 yard cut. I got this kit in the 36 count, and this is in the color Rainforest. Love this. I do think I will get use out of this fabric for sure. Kind of a nice springy green. And then I'll save the pattern till last. We got this lovely bag. I always love her bags. And the charm here has a little monkey on it. It's got a little Jumanji bag. And last but not least, we have our chart, Cross Stitch Adventure. And it says, Cross Stitch, an adventure for those who seek to find a way to leave the world behind. Which I don't know if she intended this, but it's giving very like Donkey Kong, I feel like. Classic Donkey Kong with this little pattern here. And the little monkeys. Very cute. I like this. I like the fade on these letters. So that was very cute. I enjoy the look of the look of everything in the floss drops, and yeah, like I said, love the needle minder, love the bag. Always fun, always fun. I love her commitment to all of these different like franchises. Amazing. That is all of the haul. So lastly, I feel like my friend is going to be disappointed with how I go over everything, but alas, we didn't do a great job of taking before and afters, okay? That's part of the problem. But I just wanted to highlight some of the things that we did. So basically, in my home, I have this kind of sunroom area that we're in here, and there's no door to it. And so this is my office and craft area. I have, there's a closet to my left over here that is pretty spacious. And then I have shown in the past, and I will show a picture of like the after, I guess, I have like a pegboard and then a long 3-tiered cart that I got from Michael's a while back, that is in the corner. And then kind of beyond that, that's sort of what I had going on. And then I also had in our dining area back here, one of those like cube storage things, those like 9-hole cubby type shelves. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this, but you know, it's like very critical when you bring a new storage piece into the mix that it is set up well, or we are all doomed, right? So that piece was something that I owned back in Austin, and it lived at my parents' when I came to Atlanta, and they were looking to get rid of it, and I needed some more storage. So when my dad came up in 2022 for a surgery I was having to help out post-surgery. He brought it with him. And the bummer about this is post-surgery, I was not walking for 10 days. And so I was not really in a place that I wanted to be organizing shelves. And so I kind of told him, like, you know, don't worry about it. Just like set it over there. I'll like get to it when I'm back on my feet. But he stuffed a bunch of junk in there. Bless his heart. I know he was trying to be helpful. He stuffed a bunch of junk in there and I never reorganized it. So aspects of it were functional. It was certainly not as functional as it could be. So that is kind of the main areas we tackled. So we wanted to tackle this cart area, the closet, and the cubby situation to kind of re-wrangle things. So what that sort of resulted in, because when we started, again, I am so sorry that I didn't take a good before picture, but at the top of the cart on the first rack, I had all of my whip bags up there, and it was getting to a point that they were kind of like exploding out the top and not really able to all be there together. So the only like thing we really added to the scenario, because we did go to the Container Store and I did drop fat stacks, is I did get a 2-drawer cart, which maybe I'll put a clip or something of that in here. I did get a little 2-drawer on wheels because I have this like other surface. Anyway, I'm getting in the weeds. So the whips have gotten rehomed in the 2-drawer situation because now on the top drawer, those are the things that are like actively being worked on, like, you know, the pretty much everything I showed now, you know, like things that are actively stitch along, stuff that's getting in the rotation, and then, you know, other stuff's kind of in the other drawer. The kits got moved. They were all kind of stuffed into the bottom of the cart. So now there's some things in the bottom of the cart, but we have another bag for kits. We sort of reorganized the craft cart and put, so now there's like one, you know, of those like felt cubes that has all of my quilting cotton in it, and one that has like the non-quilting or non-cotton fabrics. So that's much easier to look through. All of my kind of like trim packs for cross stitch finishing are in one place, which that's really nice. So just lots of stuff. And then I will put a photo of this in. We redid the way that my needle minders are stored. So previously they had all been just stuck onto the metal cart, which was not working. It just, you know, it's kind of out of my eyesight. So they're better displayed now. And I hold on to nice little cards. So always nice to have a way. I appreciate that my friend is very like, if things are sentimental and important to you, they should be out and displayed. So I have kind of like a little cork board for notes and cards and things that I want to have out, which I really appreciate because several of them are handmade cards from her. So that was all very exciting. And then another thing, so on top of kind of whenever we needed a break from the organizing, whatever, we would go sit, and she helped me with my StitchCon table gifts, which I will leave as a mystery for now, but I do have some table gifts prepared thanks to her. And I was doing fully finishing. And then our one other huge project was hanging these. Because I can definitely be more of the type to sort of overthink something until I've psyched myself out of it. And she is like, let's go, foot on the gas. So together, it really worked. So we did, I mean, I don't know how much anyone really cares, but we did use a little bit of like internet hacks so that we laid all of these out on the ground and then face down, and then like column by column I would take a piece of washi tape. Painter's tape would have been better, but we had just thrown out some really old dried painter's tape in the clean out process. See, this is why I hold on to things. I would put a piece of like washi tape down the center, and then with the picture nail I would like poke where the hole needed to go. So then you just like stick the tape up on the wall, which of course required measuring and using a level to pray that we mostly had these like actually vertical. And then you just nail in the holes that are in the tape, and that's how we got the spacing. Is it perfect? No, but it is so much better than I thought it would be. And of course, being a renter, I was quite nervous at the prospect of trying to get 12 things lined up correctly, and how many holes that was going to translate to in practice, but we only had to redo one. So we've only added 13 holes to my wall. But you know, like, quite frankly, it's just not like, we've been in this space for years, and I'm tired of holding off on things like hanging things on the wall just because I might lose some money later when my apartment complex has to pay for it. It has to repaint it. You know, it's just like, they're going to try to ding you anyway. You might as well enjoy your space. Excuse me. Swallowed my saliva there. Yeah. I also hung, that's it. Yeah, I guess hopefully you saw, but I did hang Must Be Possible. It's on the wall as well, kind of in the corner with the needle minders and the cards. And yeah, I am just very thrilled. This was a lot of work. I mean, she got in on Friday, a little after 1, and I would say like 1:30 to 8:39, well, to 9:30. Yeah, it's like 8 full hours we worked on Friday, which, you know, I did the like pre-friend panic clean of like, oh, there's all this stuff I've been meaning to clean, let me just do it real quick. So it was like looking pretty sparkly around here before she got here. And then on Friday, it was just like completely undone in this area. That like everything, like my living room in here, it was like impassable. So that was pretty, I was just like, oh my gosh, what have we done? But you know, as with all things, they must get worse before they get better. So then Saturday we went and had a nice breakfast, hit up the Container Store, came back, put everything away. And yeah, have been just thriving since. But also, I mean, between making the table gifts and like all this stuff, it was we were pretty much done around like 11 on Saturday. So we left for breakfast at 9 in the morning. So it was like 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. on Saturday. And then Sunday morning again, we got up at like 8 and worked to do, I did a little more finishing. She did a little more table gift stuff until we drove her to the airport around 10:30. So another couple extra hours on Sunday. So I had honestly planned to film this on Sunday, but I just needed to like be still for a moment. Yeah, that is, oh, and I guess I did lie. Hold on, grab one more thing here. So I did buy, if you saw a picture of the two drawer system I have there, this was another piece that I got that is actually modular with the rolly cart, but unfortunately it's a little too high where it is right now. But in the future I could like attach this to that and it could be all one unit. But I wanted a storage solution for my Celebrate All Year discs. And so this is nice because it has this like movable divider. So as I put this in, as I continue to make these, they'll have a nice little place to sit in this drawer. And then I have this like, I have some random stuff in there. Right now it's mostly empty, but yeah, so we ended up buying like kind of 3 new like additions, because I was a little worried that I was like, I don't want to add a ton of other shelves and things because there's not like that much room in here for adding. Things just need to be reorganized. But we moved, just, yeah, a lot of stuff got moved into new places, and a lot of things got kind of cleared out and thrown away. I have a little like to be either donated, or I'm a big proponent of your neighborhood like buy nothing or free cycle group. It's a lot easier to get things to move on Facebook when you're charging $0 for it. So far, everything I've ever put on free cycle has been gone in a day. So highly recommend it if you're just like, I want this out of my house today. I'm not trying to recoup money on it. Yeah, amazing. I hope that was not extremely boring for you, but it was a big weekend over here. I'm feeling very zen in my clean space. Now I gotta do right by my friend and put all this away in its new homes. Very satisfied with the finishing that got done. Great, of course, just to spend time with my friend no matter what we're doing, but yeah, I know this is very much up her alley, and hopefully I wasn't too much of a pain to her and her vision, but it all worked out. It was all worth it. And yeah, now it's just on me to keep the system up. But when a system is good and works, and I think I do enough stitching now to kind of know like what is, how I'm going to functionally use the space. I have pretty good confidence that the system will hold and I'll be able to maintain it because, like I said, I think I have a pretty good sense of how I like to stitch and how I like to access my stitching. So I knew where the pain points were in the old way, and now I think we're well set up to continue enjoying the space that I have now. And key being that I'm still kind of like, I'm not completely outgrown of my space, but a good reminder that there's only so much room that I have, and I'm close. I'm close to filling the maximum amount of things I can kind of reasonably have in this space without having to really start getting rid of other stuff to make room. So all of that is fantastic, and get you a friend that pushes you through even when you don't want to keep making decisions or organizing and is just committed to the end vision. Because as I said, it was definitely worth it, but I needed some pushing along the way. I hope you were all well. I hope that you are getting some good stitching done while watching this, or have some good stitching planned later. And yeah, I think I've talked your ear off about all this stuff. I will be having, there are 2 Black Needle Society boxes that are coming this month. So one is the May subscription box, which is, oh crud, I don't remember. I don't remember what the theme is, but the May box should be coming. And then one of them is on the way. I'm not sure which one. And then the other one is this year's Novels and Needles box, which is one of their like special edition boxes that has an event with it. This is like a one-day, like a single afternoon event. And I believe we're having a class from Lady Doc Creates. It got moved because initially the box was supposed to arrive last month and have the class this month, but they have shipped the box. I believe that's the one that got shipped. And the event will be next month. So I'm very excited about that. Love learning some finishing techniques. And yeah, so the May box, you will definitely see like a bespoke video for that. So if that's not, your jam, all good. And the Novels and Needles, we'll see if I restrain myself enough to film it. Or if it just gets lumped in a regular Flosstube update. But yes, all that to say, and as I mentioned, the Nice List box is going on sale later this month, so sign up for Black Needle Society email subscription, to be notified when that goes on sale. That's a fantastic box that I have looked forward to opening the past 2 years and filming it, and it's been a joy, and I can't wait to open it again this year. It's always a very fun box. We get 25 days of tiny presents, and it does, I know they try to make it more like winter focused, but it is often very Christmas aligned, so I will caveat with that. And now I'm rambling, but I don't have any new games for you. I have exclusively been playing Hello Kitty still, and I have been playing the Stitch Switch a game, the one that's like the embroidery game that I featured last video. It's very fun, very soothing, and they have like a daily puzzle, so I just kind of, it's in the rotation now of like, now in the mornings I have like my, you know, I do like the Wordle, and am I the last one? So I do like Wordle and connections and strands, and we're doing what, waffle and Quirtle, I think that's the ones. And then I got, yeah, some like dailies on Hello Kitty, and then I got the daily on Stitch, little daily puzzle. So, you know, I gotta get up and get to work immediately to get through all these little daily puzzles. Yeah, no new video games to shout out this month, but we'll see where the next video takes us. I keep talking on a month scale, but I've not been filming on a month scale. You gotta get it together. Okay, I'm really rambling. Hope you're having a great one. Hope you're taking care of yourself. Enjoy getting a little vitamin D in the sunshine and enjoying your stitching. So I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye. Somebody came by right after I turned off the camera. He knows. It's like he knows my sign off. Here's Fozzie. Looks like somebody woke up from a nap. Are you so tired? Are you so tired of everything? Yeah, he must have woken up from a nap. He's very calm. And that's it. If you made it this far, I will spoil the table gifts are related to this man's visage, so I hope you're into orange cats. I guess we're chilling. Y'all take care. Bye.